A very good afternoon from SPM Nivas. Actually, we are waiting for another few minutes. Actually, we are waiting for another 4-5 minutes. Actually, our advisors are in the meeting. So let us see if he gets relay from the meeting can join. So please keep patience for another 2-3 minutes. Then we'll start the session. Our presenter is already here, and we shall start the session very soon. Thank you for your cooperation. A very good afternoon from SPM Niwas. So advisor sir is busy in a meeting, so he will be joining the sessions subsequently. He's asking to start the session. So we are going to start today's webinar. And as you know perhaps that this is the effort of Tama Prasad Mukherjee National Institute of Water and Sanitation to disseminate different information, innovation, etc., amongst all the stakeholders of water sector. And since last May, we are organizing numbers of webinars with different subjects, not only water, but also Church Bharat Mission on sanitation also. And today's topic is a little different. As you can see, that this is on emerging private sector vendors in the rural areas. So I think you will find interest in this matter because parallelly this area is getting a momentum in rural areas, particularly where there is some water problem, water scarcity, water quality issues, etc. So today, the webinar will be presented by Mr. Satyajit Ghosh from WaterAid India. Mr. Satyajit Ghosh is a graduate in rural management and has been working with the community for the last 18 years. He possesses extensive experience in managing large-scale programs in India, especially on WAS, child rights, health, and nutrition. He currently serves as a technical specialist in research, evidence, and innovation at WaterAid India, leading research and policy level initiatives on the WAS sector. Ghosh has previously managed state program on water aid in Bihar. In West Bengal, he led state advocacy campaigns and media initiatives for Save the Children and managed Uttar Pradesh programs on child rights and youth. WaterAid India has studied the growing trend of private drinking water vendors in rural areas in India, and in their study, 10 panchayat of 9 blocks located in 6 districts in 5 states, namely Andhra Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, and West Bengal have been intervened. The report has been prepared based on activities of 13 private vendors and interaction with 43 consumers of those localities. Most of these GPs are either water scarce, having some quality problem, or disaster prone. This webinar will be conducted in 2 sessions. In the first session, Mr. Satyajit Ghosh will make his presentation and no participants should intervene his presentation until it is completed. Then a question and answer session will be held for another 30 minutes, and interested participants may raise their hand electronically before putting any question. Hope all of us will be benefited from the presentation of Mr. Satyajit Ghosh from WaterAid India. And I have already uploaded one Google Sheet in the chat box for your feedback and for any question also, because 30 minutes is too little to ask many questions to the presenter. So you might be having more questions. So you can put your questions in the Google Sheet also. So with this word, I present before you Mr. Satyajit Ghosh from WaterAid India.
Okay, thanks, and good afternoon to everyone, and thanks for having WaterAid policy and technical team as well as other team. I'm being joined by my colleague, director, policy and technical team, Mr. Vishwanath Sinha, my other colleague, Rajesh Rangarajan, Vikas Pati, and Anurag. All these people are there in the WaterAid, so they have also joined. And again, I will say thanks to all of you who have joined us, right? And I just want to share my PowerPoint presentation. And I will take, this is almost, we are, I think, 15 minutes late. So I think, okay. So I think it is visible right now. It is visible.
Yes, it is visible. It is visible. Please carry
So
on.
thank you very much again, and welcome to everybody. This presentation is basically sorry. This presentation is around 35 slides, so it is really a voluminous presentation. We can't remove or curtail any of the information over here, right? Because this study we have taken in a 5 state, and it contained a lot of information, some of the relevant information which we actually don't know as an WASH practitioners, right? So what I will do that I will more concentrate on the findings as well as the observation and the questions which are starting from the slide number 27, right? In between that, few of the slides are there on the research methodology and background. These I will going to take it. But in case of the case study, because we are apply this case study method more specifically with the vendors, and we want to try to know the larger ecology of their work that's working. So we applied this case study method. So each of the slides from the states where the case study have been mentioned and the data have been flashing up, right? So we will going to just pinpoint some of the key areas. So it will definitely going to make the time manageable time the people to ask the question, right? Anything, any of the slide which you feel that means I am just run through and some of the things would you like to interest for people to interest know about that thing, then they can note down the slide and then we can again have a discussion during the question and answer session. Right. Thank you very much once again. Let's. So basically, this study we have taken with the some of the reasons because you know the water aid is working in the various states, different states, and they have got a field level intervention. One of the important part that the water aid do is that providing a safe water access to the people. And we have observed during our field visit that there are the peoples who are supplying water, a 20-liter jar, a plastic jar, to the peoples in a selected household in the area, right? So we have observed that thing. It is happened in a Buxar and Saran, and Buxar and Saran we conducted this state a very quick, rapid assessment, and we found that the 60% household in this area is arsenic affected area is accessing of water. So we started exploring that what other data is available. The most important part is this data, the availability of data have been a very big challenge, right? So we found that 76 round of NSSO, we have got a 68% of household is consumed packaged drinking water. IIT, there is a study being carried out by the IIT, which is ongoing study. So something related to the RO technology, people have been very much interested to know about the RO technology, the drinking water the people that consume are very enchanted with our technology. So similar data we have got. Recently, if you see the Down to Earth in 16 to 31 March 2024 edition, they come out with a very interesting, only exclusive issue on RO, reverse osmosis, and that is being somehow been linked with your packaged drinking water. So there is a 37% market been already captured by the RO technology, right? And then something, right, international market analysis research and consulting group, they have came up with a very international data that how its RO would be purifier market would be in a 2032. You can see the figures that is over here. So the data support that we have got, that the peoples who have got the data of the registered big vendors, we have got a large investment of 1 crore above, is we have got a FSIS, Central Groundwater Authority or a board in the states, BIS, MSM, they have got this data, but this data are not in a public and it's very difficult to get this data. So it's very difficult to get the actually the population of these people. Second, there are some unregistered vendor. Apart from the registered vendor, unregistered vendor, which are operating very at a very micro level, 4 to 6 square kilometer. There is a market area, and they are supplying to the water to the peoples around in a household. And various means consumer, right from the police station to the even find out the school. So basic exploratory question that we want to explore that who they are, how they are operating, and how they're impacting a larger drinking water ecology. what we mean by the larger drinking water ecology is that if we considered a vendor and what are the geography they are operating, what is their social norms are there, what are their other parts, means basically the technical part that is available or something that is, so we want to know those larger ecology. So a secondary data review we is a very big limitation that we are unable to get those data. So what we do, that we, our field intervention team, we ask them to get a very quick assessment of the vendors that is presented over there in the field. So 8 areas we have seen that average 10 vendors are present. So 80 vendors data we have presented, we have seen, and then we selected a 13 vendor area basis on their nature of operation to bring the diversity in the study, right? The nature of their operation, nature the product they are giving. So each study, 13 vendors are unique in a sense. So it's a very case-centric study. We will going to find that a lot of case studies in this study, and each case study are unique in level to the water ecology. So we applied some interview method, case analysis, participatory discussion, and even the observation. So we applied the hybrid method when we get into the field. We get into the field and when we are interacting with the people. 13 vendor, 43 consumer, 5 PRI members were been interacted during the field work. And then again, if you see that what we have, what the ecology that we have considered, we have want to consider it's a disaster-prone, water-scarce, drought-prone, or water quality affected ecology we want to take, because it definitely going to create some sort of demand, the drinking water demand, inelastic drinking water demand for the vendors. The market will be something different. Then number of vendors and their nature of operation. What nature this vendor are there, what product they are operating, and the pipe water supply system it is present. So AP and Bihar have all the three things. Then Chhattisgarh and UP, pipe water supply plus vendor are there. West Bengal, when we have covered the South Chobis Pargana area, we found that it is a disaster prone. It's highly related, climate related disaster is very high. Its quality affected by salinity, plus the vendors are present. So this is the basically anybody who are familiar with the theories of the classical economics, they know that if you are adding some value to water, then it turn into the commodity. So what we are adding to the value, the factors of production, land, profit, capital, and labor. Even the land is available, profit, capital, and labor is available, and the land is aligned. You cannot work on this entire thing with the capital and labor. That is happening in the Sundarban. So each factor is contributing to each other in the vending process. Here the discussion start where we're talking about the commodity of the water is the private good as well as the public goods. So there is a market, and we want to touch this market with a certain set of indicators who say the collection of fixed capital, operational cost, type of product, technology, revenue, profit, all this, even the innovation we want to cover, customer relationship we want to see, and then the market regulation, whether there is some market regulation up there, registration, pricing, product attribute. We try to cover entire thing on this structure. But like, the approach is that we want to see the private vendor. We approach the private vendor considering this larger ecology. So you can say that we are doing the study. So you will see that the case studies, when we're going to see that it is a private vendor focused study. And then we want to see the disaster pipe water supply, how they are managing and how they are operating. So this is something about the 13 individual vendors. We interacted with the 43 customers in order to recheck the information what the individual vendors have provided, and even want to get the consumer perception about the why they are buying this private, means they're relying on a private water vendors. This is something you can see that local drinking water system we want to analyze. So this is a 13 water vendor local drinking water ecosystem. What we mean that this is a nature that we are covered. If you see the Manpur and southern block of Gaya, this Manpur block is a water scarce. You can see the Central Water Groundboard website that you also, it is placed in a dark zone, the Manpur. Second is a fluoride affected Churi. You can see also it's a fluoride affected area. You can find the range of 3 parts per million to 6 parts per million in this some of the areas. Salinity is very high in Gosawa. People who are familiar with this area, you will know. Pathar Pratima, it's also been a high salinity and disaster prone. Utai Panchayat is a water scarce in a Durg, it's in Nandapatan block. Then Ambagar Chowki, it's arsenic affected and water scarce. And so we have covered entire. Even interesting to see that we also cover the water abundant area, the Fatehpur and Bitawada, to know that what larger ecology place the people to buy the water, right? So this is something regarding the nature, larger ecology, and the various function of social and economic aspect. You can see the Bihar one. So the Bihar one, we can see that there is a three vendors that we have taken. One is from the water scarce area, this Kakula Jalprapat. Second, Aski Gupta is from the fluoride affected area, and third is the Shivnandan Kumar, who is selling a very special thing about the alkaline water. So three of the so you can see the product. Both the product are lying with each other. They are the homogeneous in nature. The third product is very something different. So we interviewed that person to keep the diversity of entire thing. So you can see the entire fixed cost curve. So this is interesting to see the fixed cost curve about that. This is very interesting to see that three-wheeler auto, that is the investment is very high because they want to reach each and every customers on a time, supplying the water to the number of vendors who are engaged in the various trades. Say for the water, say for the marriage hall. Marriage hall required the water at 24/7, or you say that at midnight. So they keep such type of investment, the three-wheeler auto, so they can reach those people. So this is a very high. Then RO machine cost is also been a very high fund there. So some of the things, the fixed cost, we can have a discussion when we are going to conclude on the findings and observation. Variable cost, you can find that the variable cost of the people over here is, this is interesting to see that one of the focused area is a change in the cartage and servicing. And you can find this Aski Gupta, it's very high because it's just due to turbidity and the flora, this contamination that is coming out from the plant. So basically the turbidity. So high turbidity has also been one of the cases of change of cartage and servicing, and it is very high for Aski Gupta. But Kakulat has also been struggling with that. And something interesting to see that this person, Shivnandan Kumar, who is when selling the alkaline water, he is printing a IC and pamphlet and flex to market his new product, which has not been very much famous in the area. So you can see the surplus that has been made. So Shivnandan Kumar you cannot find anything because his product is not very appealing. So this person is struggling. So Aski Gupta and Kakula Jalprapat, they are making a good profit over there. And you can see the consumers, the type of consumers that is being covered. So the shops, Kakulat Jalprapat is very high because it is located in a semi-urban area. Market is very close. Household is very high for the Kakulat Jalprapat. Now Aski Gupta is, but you can see that Aski Gupta's is also making a profit because its product is a very much inelastic because it's serving to some of the areas which are very water scarce and the contaminated. Chloride contamination is quite high. This is something about the Kakula Jalpa Aski Gupta. You can see that the month of the May, June, these 2 months they are making a good income. And rest of the month is they are actually managing they're managing their revenue. So something, the average revenue that they are getting, which has been reflected over there. You can see the average revenue curve. And also this monthly surplus. So this is something very interesting to see that everything. So this has also been a same thing on a May and June month. And also been one thing to see that the May month is also been the marriage seasons are also been one of the factor for shifting or making the shift ups and down, crest and trough in revenue curve. This is something regarding Kakula Jalprapat. You can see one of the important thing, that chilled water that has been provided by the thermos jar, which is a 15 liter in quantity, and if it is less than 2 kilometer, that rupees 20 will be charged, and if it's 2 to 4 kilometer, it's at 25 rupees. So he's increasing the cost beyond order to meet the query. So this is something, the product that they have designed, and what I was speaking that he kept this two-wheeler to provide the emergency services. When you get into the matrix, you will find that this is a customer relation that he is making in order to supply the water as an essential commodity, as a need-based commodity, where even at the people, even at the person's doorstep, even at 1 o'clock. So it's a very, you can say the very laborious sort of business for the Aski Gupta. So you can see the three-wheeler. This is the thing which I mentioned over there, that this person is covering a 10 square kilometer area. So he can't do this sort of business and the roads are not good. So what he do, that he keep this jar in a three-wheeler, 1000 liter jar, and he go to the one point and people collect the water. Interesting part is that if somebody comes to his home, he gives the water free, which is 4.5 liters. So we ask them that is a local ecology again plays a very role. We asked him the why he is giving this water. He said that this is the water is a very pure means commodity. It's a sanctity. It's linked with the sanctity. Somebody need to feed the water. So anybody is coming at our home, we're going to give the 4 to 5 liter water. Remember, this person is there in a semi-urban area, and this is something located in a rural area. This is Shivnandan Prasad who is selling the alkaline water. He is aspiring to be a big vendor, right? And he is struggling. But interesting part is that he expect that he will going to become become very big like other vendors, and his product will going to succeed. So he is selling this Kangen water. So everybody, few of the people know. So he has got a 12 customer and 100 rupees liter for a 20 liters, very costly. And he's also selling to the beauty salons for the 3 beauty salons, 17 individual. And these are some of the beauty water that he's giving. This is, you can see the beauty water in a 100 ml bottle. And he is very interesting. He knows about the entire thing about the water quality. That is one of the things which these people know about marketing the product. When they want to market the product, he easily can give you all the parameters, a lecture on all the parameters, how this Kangen water will be beneficial to them. So this is something interesting we captured over there. If you see that the entire matrix, the years of service is 4 to 10, 4 years for Kakulat Jalprakath, ASCII is a 10, and Shivnandan is a 1. One of the interesting things that I want to focus over here, getting into this entire matrix, is that if you see the marketing tactics, one of the thing which the private water vendor is doing, one is that they are showcasing this quality with a TDS meter, and people feel that this is something new that they're in the doorstep. This person is doing, so checking the quality. And second is a feedback mechanism. He has a continuous interaction and feedback mechanism, and 24/7 is he is connected. This is something very interesting. Timeliness, checking feedback, location again, and providing a chill water at the doorstep, which is really been one of the factor of marketing. Third is that he is interacting with the patient and he actually influencing the doctors that why this water is important for the people who are in a very poor health condition, and again why it is necessary for the people to use this water as a beauty product, right? So they in NOC is not available to any of the people. They got the NOC from the Gaya Municipal Corporation, NOC from the Panchayat, but there is no registration as per the, you see, for the whatever the government norms is that Vesicular Center Water Ground Board. So these are the few of the challenges that they have said that. So basically the electric supply is one of the main challenge. If it is if the electric supply is not available, they're unable to meet the demand. So they make large scale storage of this water, right? This is from the West Bengal. West Bengal, we have studied the two blocks, the marine blocks Patha Pratima and riverine block Gosawa. So we want to get the idea of both these blocks because the connectivity as well as the approach going towards a block is something different. There's salinity, all the things are completely different. So we want to get the idea. So we approached to the Amarnath Mandal, who is selling again the RO water, right? And he's supplying to 150 household, and you can see this fixed cost as well as average cost, and most of the cost they are incurring on your this deep borewell as well as your RO plants. So RO plants and deep borewell are two of the major costs. So we gone to the this riverine block, and there is a group discussion we held with all the say the 5 vendors. And another good discussion, we came to know that one of the person have closed this his plant in 2018 because it's again been affected by the salinity, the lower level water that from where he's drawing, it's got saline, and he have to close it because it was become a loss making. So he's not at all in a water vending business, but he said that the salinity is one of the major cause of failure of the water vending business. You can see the fixed cost again, it's quite high in case of filtration machine and metering part, right? But the difference with your Gaya case and this case, there is no requirement of the chilled water. Here the people don't need a chilled water. So though you can find there is no chiller, there is no AC machine or something addition to make it cool. So it saved the cost. It saved the cost, but additionally it increased the cost of the filtration machine because due to the various reasons, TDS and the salinity it get increases. Petrol driven three-wheeler vehicle, it is one of the costs that it need to incur. But again, the variable cost, if you see the variable cost and the labor is quite high on that area, right? The labor, availability of labor. And again, if you we asked one of the question, very interesting question about this water vending ecology, that it has been closed that if any of the vendor, we asked this in a Gosawa block, particularly in a Gosawa block, that if the salinity is increasing, if anybody is working, if anybody is currently started operating a water vending business, how much depth they have drilled. So this is the things what we found that is a completely very alarming. This is the thing you can find it very alarming. So you can have 1,450 feet that they have drilled for this water vending business. So this is something is required some sort of discussion, right? This is the West Bengal again, Loknath industry, and its service is again 8 to 10 square kilometer. Its poor infrastructure is limiting because every time this cyclone takes place, roads get the roads get broken and he is unable to move. And again, the delivery mode is again you can see the chart with the three wheelers. Number of vendors in the is a 4 and local vendor 20 square kilometer. One of the things what he has said that there is no growth of the vendors in the coming years because due to the salinity, because it's a loss making business. So there is a no marginal addition in this growth in the within 10 years. But interesting part is that they have got all the certification which we have found that they are BIS certification, they are ISO as well as a FSI certification is there. Electric water supply, high turbidity, poor infrastructure. These are the main causes that is making a high losses within every year. And also been we asked them that what about the JJM. He said that JJM will going to start and it is starting in some of the areas. They are surveying of the area. We are also supporting them. The reason is that they are not unable to find this very safe place to drill, right? That everywhere there is a high case of salinity or there is a probable there would be an increase in a salinity. So they are we are supporting them that they will come and start these public services. Environmental impact is that it's they drain this entire water into the pond, right? And this pond is then used for the fishery cultivation. That this is a very interesting part we found over there. This is something we found that consumer have a very trust on this vendor because they are the only source, and you can see the local market. So this is the actually a geographical restriction which is done due to the disaster. One cannot move to the other areas because the roads are not good. It is very inaccessible and they can't move to the. So you can see the three vendor which are operating over here, but nobody means they can't encroach with each other due to the geographical restriction. This is something again the your revenue, operational cost, and surplus card, and again same nature that you can see the April, May, and June. So this is something which we can see. You can see that the certified logo. Water testing is a very means water testing access to the laboratory is so much decentralized. They can get the good certificate at a time, and they can even in a 6 month they can also send it to the FSI, right? For means again to FSI for fulfilling the certification norms. This is a you can say the water vending. You say cart or you say the some sort of jugaad system that he has applied over here. This is for the riverine block. Riverine block is one of the important thing that I want to highlight is that riverine in a riverine GP, the each of this most of this Gram Panchayat is located in the island, and it's very difficult for anybody to transport those manufactured bottles. So what they do, they price this, they sell this to the middleman, basically the shopkeepers, at a 12 rupees, and the consumers are getting it at rupees 25. So middleman played a very big role. You can see there in the picture that how it is getting transported this bottle, and this has really been a very big challenging task, and middleman play a very crucial role over there. Cyclone and again electric supply is a big risk, and again you can see that they have got all the registration which is really been a very good practices in the West Bengal what we found, and there is no competition among themselves because they have got because they have to supply them to the shopkeepers. So there is no sort of consumer sort of things which we seen it's applied over here. So this is something interesting. Again, the wastewater is pumped into fishery ponds. We started the discussion with a debate, so we can get the real picture. And this is the again surplus of the water vendor. Again, you can see the June, July on this other month, which is very high in demand. And salinity is one of the causes, so it makes the entire year of the supply working. This is something from the Uttar Pradesh. Uttar Pradesh is the water abundant area, like GP Husainganj. So we can find the fixed capital. This is Amrit Aqua. It need to be looked very seriously because his investment is much more above the crores. You can see that he's invested in 70 lakhs in purchasing a land and building, and its unit is very high. So it makes a unique for our case study. So what he is doing is his product diversification is so high, and his customer base is so high. So he can actually make lots of permutation combination among his product and his supply. So you can see his average monthly operational cost is surplus is massive. He has got a daily customer of 170 apart from that. And then this is something about two brothers who are running this RO plant. And interesting to find that this is something the product is considered as a luxury product in that area. So it's upper water abundant area. 6 to 40 feet you can get the water. It's not a water scarce. The question is that how they are operating over here. This person came here in this area to make a business of this packaged water. So he drilled more than 6 to 40 feet, right? And now he's selling this to the in the Fatehpur urban area to the railway station. This is something about Amrit Aqua and Ashwini and Himanshu. We cannot compare both of them, but again, if you see that this Bolero and Maxi truck, it play a very crucial role in the cost because this is one of the way that they can reach to the customers, right? Again, only the Amrit Aqua have got this FSI and BSI registration because this capital investment is very high. And again, if you see that the variable cost is that again the major variable cost about this the membrane replacement and service charge, which is he's got a very large plant and it's a very advanced plant, so he required some technical services membrane replacement very quickly. So this is something we can see when the variable cost of both Ashwini and Himanshu Maurya and Amrit Aqua. Here is a product diversification. You can see, so thermostatic jar he is selling to the household office. This is Amrit Aqua. Then you can see the sachet he is selling, 150 ml sachet for 2 rupees. And this is for shops, eatery, local fair, religious gathering, marriage hall, and everything. So this is something interesting to see that the product diversification. And second is the thermostatic and plastic. We have not got a very much product diversification. It is same to what we seen in the earlier case studies. But the factor which play a very important role over here is that the marketing, if you see what the factor played, the factor is that the peoples are buying water here is that because they consider it as a luxury commodity, because we ask some of the consumers, they say that this is something, if a person is buying a water and drinking the water and is paying for the water, it is something he is wealthy and he have a lot of money, and he's also going to add a health need of the person. And second thing is that people need a very cool water, chill water, a safe water that is during 4 to 5 months. So this entire vending business works. Again, the quality checking with the TDS meter is appealing to the people. His logo, nature of diversification, relying on research, these are something marketing is a very important. We can see that. Again, if you see that entire thing, trend of the growth is a 25%. We found that, but remember that we asked about area of 4 to 6 kilometer above the trend of growth. We haven't asked him the large member of the 20 square kilometer because he is unable to give the answer. But he can say that in the 4 to 6 kilometer, there is a 25% increase. Even this person is also saying that there is a vendors have increased from in the last 10 years. So this is something different of the Amrit Aqua and Ashwini Kumar Maurya. So this could be the very interesting case study when we go to the certification part, right? This is something you can see that his plant is a steel plant. It's a costly, it's a automated steel plant of the RO water. A 150 ml sachet is producing. You can see the sachet is putting in 1 minute. So its production is very high and its consumption of electricity is very high. This is a lifeline of the Fatehpur entire water business. There's a coolant and the luxury commodity. These Bolero trucks play a major role, and this is again the same cost curve what we arrived April, May, and June, July. These are the months which are very high in demand. Cool water, water as a luxury commodity. So if somebody is there, he said that if you're paying for the water, we are affluent. This is there. Chhattisgarh, again, we came across Mukesh Lal Saw. Same sort of things we have found that he's putting to CISM marriage hall. Ramesh Tripathi is one of the, he's point the arsenic affected area. Surplus is that same thing. So we, right now when we visit to the Chhattisgarh, when we are getting this same sort of thing, so we tweak the discussions a little bit. So we tweak the discussion a little bit. And this is something you can see that I am presented over there, but I present it in a very tabular form because same thing is coming out round and round in the study because we are getting something same round of questions and same round of discussions. So I will uh, I will take this slide much earlier. Then I will go to the previous slide. So what we did that we went over there and we made people representative who is a Jila Panchayat head in Utai and Kamleshwar Thakur waterman in Utai. He is the person who is, I would say that he is a person who is responsible for supplying a water in a 15 wards comprise of you can say the 1,100 household, right? So he is the person managing it entire public water supply, right? And this is a person who is actually managing and is supplying the water in these areas, and they are the person who has actually, I would say, restricted the market of the private water vending, right? This person is a private water vendor, so we ask them very simple questions just to tweaking the study. We're not getting into the data, but we're just tweaking the study. We are asking them that what is there that what you feel about the water it should be free. So they say that people should pay at least a nominal subsidized charge through metering, and because people's are its own perception, it's a free because the people are losing the trust. So but it is a something rights of the people, so it should be a public good, not a private good, but people should have some sort of ownership. Then he said that we found the inequality in the water supply when we are doing, because when we find the water supply, the people who have very wealthy households, they start motors and they start using it, and so we turned off that time. So 2 hours they are turned off that electric supply, and then they start supplying the water from their unit which is located far away from their the areas of the electric supply. So drinking water market is he say that it's not expanding because the wealthy peoples are buying water and vendor is using a full false information. He said that if we have a professional approach and service and customer this feedback and consumer interaction, legal enforcement, definitely it would be a successful part. And JJM will going to definitely going to make it it will going to make it highly successful program Jal Jeevan Mission, because it will definitely going to challenge the local water vending practices, right? Because it is something which is coming in a very massive way, and it will definitely going to substitute or you say that give a push to the water vendor. So we asked them what is the perception. They say that it's an essential life. People should be educated, and it is for the good health. So they are giving type of response. Lastly, they said that the people need a sweet water, and if it is available at the doorstep and coolness during the summer, buying as a luxury good which is accountable. He said that once the people start using the RO water, if taste is such, then they have been addicted to it, right? So they have been addicted to it, and then finally it is very difficult for them to switch over to any other water. So this is the one thing which we are doing in the marketing. He said that one of the things it will going to make impact on our business if the Jal Jeevan Mission come, because it should become a awareness generation program is the government is doing. So it will going to make us impact. So something is a public and private if we do that. In this case, that private water vending is not expanding too much, and it has been restricted by the very good public water services. Since I think the way that has been managed. This is something we found over the Kushi RO, which is same we their earlier sort of presentation. 80% consumer in Arambagh Chowki and 10% shop, 10%. So these are the consumer means composition over here. I haven't presented those slide over here because it's a little bit monotonous, or say there's something which we go on repeating every time. So this is something interesting to see. But there is a growth of private vending. So it is 66% growth and 50% growth. So this is in the 10 years he said that. But this has also been a very marginal in case. If you see the marginal addition, it is very low. This is a special case of Andhra Pradesh. Interesting to see the special case of Andhra Pradesh because private water vending is something different over here. So we interviewed the 4 private vendors, basically household private vendors, right? And household tap connection, private stand post, and treated. So you can see that the various their product is there and type the household tap. So household tap connection is also provided by the individual entrepreneur. You can imagine that he is not supplying a packaged drinking water to the household, but he is extending a pipe water supply to the household. WaterAid also came up with a pipe water supply at the port. That here it is a something is a public services. Then ATM, we have found that Bal Vikas, one of the NGO that is installed, and the plant of treating. This is something interesting. The Panchayat member, who is a Panchayat Pradhan, who promoted his RO plant in the premises of the Panchayat Bhavan, right? So this is interesting. When you get into that, we will know that this is something household that they are covering. Years of operation is too old for the peoples who are the individual entrepreneur providing a tap water connection to the extension of the pipeline in this area. When we're getting into this area, this Rashman Padu, the village Rashman Padu in the context of water private, we are not there to ask some question which is very extractive in nature. So we are not going to talk about that. The what is your fixed cost, what is your variable cost. So this is something means it has become a little bit extractive in the sense that we are not giving value to the people's what they have, what the impact that they have made in their life. So we conducted a very simple participatory exercises. We asked one person from a ST community, he is from Chinchu colony, that what is the life he has seen the water. So you can see that how the private water vending came. So 6 years of 5 open wells, 10 wells, this is promoted by the government. First water tanker arrived. Mines, there is a large minings on those areas. So the abandoned mines, they collect this to water is stored in the abandoned mines. So they collect the water. First borewell drill, all HP become defunct. Then this is something very interesting that this private borewell were drilled for the irrigation under the scheme of the government, and it has been supported by the panchayat. Panchayat subsidized the drilling, right, and provided the free electricity. So you could see that in this resource map, if you get into the resource map, you will find that this is a forest, this is a low-lying area, this is a recharging area, right? And all the borewells are located. So these are the field, these borewells are located. From that borewell, they are extending a pipeline for the drinking water. But these borewells are basically for the irrigation purpose, right? But Panchayat supported it free of electricity. Now the peoples who are there in the village, first they went. So if you tag the if you discuss with them, they say that first they used to visit this area to get the water. Lately they paid some money, they collected the money. Now this pipe water supply is reaching to their household, right? And this is something which is electricity is free and subsidized drilling is promoting this pipe water business, and it is to the panchayat. So you can see the drought prone area is one of the factor that is making a very large impact in the ecology. 85% household is paying for the water right now. So it could be one of the things which is being a potential for interesting tariff model. This is something about a WaterAid. You can see the fixed cost, that is a 17 lakhs. This is fixed cost there, 6,15,000, and then this is a 9 lakh. You can see that how this. But interesting part is that this system is working without the surplus, very minimum surplus, many minimum surplus. They are not collecting the surplus. So the surplus is very low compared to the previous water vending what we have seen. So you can see the salary, electricity charge, cartage, 7,000 for the water ATM. So this is based on the cooperative model. So they are been very low in the cost. You can see that rupees 7 for the 20 liters. So it's a very low in the cost. Even 5 for the 20 liters, low in the cost. So something is a cooperative model that they are working. So this is something interesting what we found in the Andhra Pradesh. Now you can see that the entire picture of the pipe water vending that has been started in a village Rashman Padu. You can see that the picture that I have shown, that this is the area where this your operating system is there for this the local level where the drilling has been taken place. So they can operate these motors over here, and all the supplies are taken to the household. You can see, and huge scale of water being wasted, because when the irrigation start, when the pumps start for the irrigation, it goes on and goes on, and there is a one person who used to switch over these valves. You can see the valves are there. So you switch over these valves. So there are locations, are there 5 such type of locations are there, the people that supply. Each location of the 20, you can see the 20 connections. You can see the 20 channels for the 20 household. 2 distribution point, 3 hours in the morning and 3 hours in the evening. So this is something it will be interesting, that one time 5,000 rupees need to be charged, and then again minor repairs one have to pay for rupees 100 to 300. Again, it is required. One major repair you have to bond. So this is something, the household is getting a connection, you have to pay. And there is a monthly supply is 3,200, which is, he said, that very low, and this is for the public services. This RO unit, if you see that this RO unit, this has been run by one of the NGO Bal Vikas and with the community. It's basically a cooperative sort of model where the people have deposited some share capital of rupees 300, and 1,05,000 rupees capital has been deposited. And this entire system required a 90,000 rupees minimum balance for water ATM to do. So he used to collect the money in advance, right? And then the surplus are used to prepare for the repair and maintenance. So there is no surplus in that, and it is running well, and people are paying, right? And this rejected water again of RO unit has been placed over here. It has not been properly used. This is the RO plant of Ravi Varam GP office, and it has been run by the Gram Panchayat, and all the major repair is run by the Gram Pradhan. So if you see the cost, it is completely very low. It is rupees 7 per 20-liter bottle. But who are accessing this water? The people who are from the OBC and general community, they are accessing this water. All these people. So when we get into that, both the areas, most of the people, if you see, most of the people are accessing the public water supply. Few of the people, if you say the comparatively few of the people, they are actually accessing this water, right? So when you want to get the conclusion part, we want to see that what is their number. So this is the findings that what we are want to present over here. Is that if you see that the Gannavaram, when we say that this peoples are buying the water and this panchayat is owned by the panchayat, only 70 people, 70 household is accessing. And Ravi Barman is a 350 household is using the water ATM out of 347. So there is a functional pipe water supply connection in both the GP, which is providing water to the rest of the household. Or most of them are SC/ST community. They were not ready to buy, and even they feel that when we spoke to some of the consumers, they said that this is a wasteful expenditure. People should not buy at least the water, right? So this is something, the perception that we have collected from the SC/ST people. If you see the entire case of the Rashman Padu, that we are very interesting to see that the people are ready to pay. So if you compare to any of the operation and management collection process in the Jal Jeevan Mission or any of the erstwhile public water supply scheme, people are not ready to pay even for the 5 rupees a month, right? Even for the 2 rupees a month, they will not going to pay. Even for the simple hand pump repair, they are not going to pay. They say that government is a responsibility of the government. But if you see the Rashman Padu, they are ready to pay for that. They feel that this is something which is important, and people should pay at least a nominal charges, So if the Jal Jeevan Mission comes, then this tariff collection and ownership would be very interesting, and it will definitely going to replace the private water vending with a good tariff collection model, right? So Utai Nagar Panchayat, you can say that the private water vending is completely restricted, and it has been because their water supply is so excellent and it's reaching to the people on a time. So 2000, you can see that only 730 household is already vendor is covering, and he has also been struggling with this thing. So this is something very interesting. Interaction by the waterman day-to-day basis is something which we can learn, and we can see that what capacity we have to influence the people to stay in this government water supply. Fluoride affected areas has really been as one of the larger ecology in Bihar, and it is something as an inelastic water supply. And it is something interesting to see that if you have a trained pump operator, right, we have a no dedicated trained point person in a fluoride affected GP. In the Gram Panchayat, you have some trained person, a pump operator, who can spread the awareness on the consumption of water, safe water, and consumer interaction, linking the state level health program, etc. Then definitely this private water vending will definitely going to be curtailed down, but currently it is expanding. If you see the panchayat role in UP, so it's Jal Jeevan Mission. When we went over there, it's coming up, right? And the peoples are very much thankful, or they are elated that Jal Jeevan Mission is coming, and it is something new to them, and they will definitely going to get a good water. But this water supply been restricted to not more than very less number of people. Most of the people are depending on the hand pump and the public water supply. People who are depending for the chilled water in summer as a luxury item essential, I think that one of the important thing which Jal Jeevan Mission will able to make when it comes with the CSOs, various CSOs and sector partner, that they should be generating awareness. And they talked about this RO water, how the RO water is, how far the RO water is harmful, or you say that the RO water is making impact in their life to the immunity or something. So we have also to speak with some of the consumers. And interesting thing that what we found with the Bihar, UP, Bihar and Chhattisgarh, the people who consume the water, RO water once, they feel that this sweet taste is something good and they are good for the health because something value been added, and this is something pure. So if you once you consume and started RO water, if you consume another water, then it's very difficult, and you feel the taste and you see that this is water, something is very good for the health. Again, the thing is that social status in the UP is very important. The consumers say that, one of the consumers say that the few goods are not safe, and this is something the people, poor people is a poor people commodity, and we are able to buy. But when we interacted with some of the people who are not drinking, they said that though it is a so government, they have high reliance on the government and they have faith on the Jal Jeevan Mission. So they say that the Jal Jeevan Mission is something driven by the government, and it will definitely going to provide a safe water. So one set of consumer is talking about they are the people who are very affluent. Indeed, they have got a good means they have got a good income. But there are another set of people are commenting that this is the wasteful sort of thing of expenditure. Social relation played a very important role in AAP. The vendors are playing a very good social role, and to pay them, that is a very big thing. Fluoride and salinity, there is no option, so the people consider the vendors as the lifesavers. But I think the Jal Jeevan Mission is making a lot of effort, and they will going to definitely going to they're definitely going to give a competitive edge, or you say the definitely going to restrict the speed of the vendor in this area. Consumer centric approach is the interpersonal relation. 24 hours feedback is something is a very consumers are very much interested. They say that this is something they are taking care of. And lastly, that one of the important find would be say that this is the enchantment of the treatment technology. Somebody say that this technology, that the technology that is there is something is added in the water. What I discussed in the conceptual slide, if you could remember, that you have got a natural water that is there in your ground and there in your surface water. When you are adding something, you are adding value to that, and that use value of this commodity is turning into your exchange value, and it will get marketed. And you are enchanting the people, that you are marketing the people with that treatment technology. Some sort of enchantment the peoples are there. So they say that there is something is added, so it will be much better. 10%, if you see that there is a 38% increase across all the state. But again, when I'm talking about the 38% increase, we're talking about the 4 to 6 square kilometer of the area, which we have seen, right? Where we took the vendor at the center and looking about the larger ecology of their state. But Chhattisgarh and the AP, its growth is very low, right? Chhattisgarh, due to their Chhattisgarh, it's a public water services that is very good. Sundarban, again, it's a 30% increase because people are not, new people don't want to come in the business, right? Because decline water levels and increased salinity, high cost. this is something not appealing for the peoples to get into the water business. 30% capital intensive, if you see that in the Surbandar area, West Bengal, the drilling is one of the things in Sundarban. So 30% capital in expenses are go for drilling. Andhra Pradesh, if you see the in Sundarban area of West Bengal as well as the Ashwan Power village of Andhra Pradesh due to depleting water levels. Drilling cost is increasing every year, nominal rate of 5%. So this is a fuel and labor cost is also increasing. So this is something troubling to the water vendor because people are not ready to pay for that. There's a 40% capital intensive expenses. What we found in the Bihar, UP, and Chhattisgarh is attributed to the cooling the water, the chiller. So the people want a very cool water or chilled water in their home. And it is again, I would say that other parts of the UP is considered as a luxury commodity. Change in a cartesian, so 60% of the variable cost, where the change of this labor cost, this change in a cartesian services is compared to 60% of the variable cost, where you have the water quality problems, right? Where you are getting the high TDS or you see for the salinity, right? But also been one of the thing is that electricity which is required to run this plant is also from the 10% of the variable cost, not much compared to other costs. One of the things that we have found in the Sundarban, there is absence of the cache in the riverine block because this is located in on the island. So the bank is run out of the cash, right? So nobody want to take the online transaction. So that is one of the things we found, and the absence of credit and the people's. So they have to wait for a very longer time to get the cash arrive, right? So everything is transaction on the cash. No, means this is something very big challenge to them. The absence of the credit from the bank is one of the things. So they depend on the local money lender, high turbidity, and again salinity, same thing, erratic supply and cyclone. These are the climate related, you say, about disaster which is disrupting the entire water business. Local water vending market, if you see that local water vending market is 4 to 6 kilometer radius, you can see the riverine area, except riverine area of Sundarban. One of the thing is that I don't want to repeat all this thing because I have already been explained entire thing, but here, if you see the consumptions, the household are the regular consumers, but one-time consumers are the marriage halls, right? Hospitals and exam centers. They play a very big role in making this downward fluctuation of their revenue curve during the winter season. So this is something important about the vending market, and wherever they are operating this vending market, what are they entered in this entire market with some sort of positioning statements like health, or you say the social goodwill, or you say the interaction with the people. So they entered in this area. Once they enter into one household, then other household again start imitating or buying that water. Quick services, if you see that the quick water quality check that they are doing, people feel that if they are checking a TDS, there is something is good in the water. And they also interact with the local influencer, mainly the local doctors and the quack, and they play a very vital role in promoting their RO water, which we found in the UP, Bihar, and other area. Again, the challenge, which I again repeating it, salinity, cyclone, poor infrastructure, and water vending business is one of the things which is affecting this entire sustainability of the water vending business in Sundarban, right? And again, depleting water level in UP, Bihar, and Chhattisgarh is also challenging them. High turbidity, again, erratic electric supply is one of the reasons that they have to replace this RO machine regularly. Some of the parts of the RO machine, or there are some of the parts of the RO machine, and they have to call the technicians in Sundarban from the Kolkata, and the technicians are not coming on the time. That is one of the major reasons that some of the plants get stopped for the very long, very for a few days or 1 week. So they have to store the water. So this is one of the things that I have talked about. And then in case of the Gaya, what we found in case of Uttar Pradesh, when the extreme summer months came, the district administration closes this plant, right? Because they are the main extractor, and it's created a lot of problems around. So it happens in a Gaya, way back. way back 2 years back. So we came. It happens in the UP also. Certification process is very strong in West Bengal, and Bihar, UP, Chhattisgarh, AP system requires some improvement, so we can do that. And then again, the social aspect is that it's something very interesting to see the rural water supply is linked with the sanctity and customs. The people who are selling the water, they say that this is a water, is a good business, but something is linked with the sanctity. The poor people comes everywhere. We say that if the poor people comes who are unable to pay that, if old age people comes unable to pay that, so they give the water free of cost. This is something very interesting to see that how this local water ecosystem is linked with the sanctity of this purity of the water. Again, if you see the caste composition of accessing this private water, this OBC is something predominantly for buying the water in a Rajlakshman part of village. SC/ST is unable to buy it because they have to pay a very huge cost. The advance one and everything is very high. So 1,000 rupees per household, 5,000 rupees once. They are not ready to pay for that, right? This is something that, so they used to depend on the government water supply and government water points. Again, again, I would say that the 85% of the SC/ST still depend on the government. I would say the public water supply, right? And they view purchases of the water as a luxury commodity that when we interacted with them. 80% of the SC community depend on the private water vendors, but some few of the water vendors, which we found that they're supplying to them in a very low cost, right? They are very much sensitive and they are providing them a very low cost in Gaya specifically. So this is a some summary of the findings. We will end up in I think in the 4 minutes, right? It's a something very informal rural economy what we can find, right? So very informal, and if you could understand the dynamics and business model, right, of providing them, so it could be the one of the things which could come out with a very suggestive sort of business model that is happening if we collect them, because there is some business model that is happening and they are making the surpluses. Then if we can see that the panchayat play a very big role apart from the state regulation or something. So the panchayat and roles is we can strengthen or give the panchayat a very upper hand. It could be a range of some sort of other sort of discussions, right? It could be you say that question is that there are some of the parts they are in a coexistence and they are somewhere part they are complementing each other. We see that in the case of Andhra Pradesh where they are actually complementing the entire system, right, of the water supply. Now, these are the stakeholders, panchayat, doctors, other influencers. If you can tap and we can involve them in awareness generation, water quality exercise, right? They are the people's influencer. We can involve them. Some of them are very sensitive. They are not in favor of promoting this private water, right? Private water business, not in favor. So one of the things that what we can do is that one of the summary of findings what we have found that the water quality affected regions require a very urgent solution. So how we can tap them, right? How we can tap them and they could act as the extension of the existing service model of the intervention, right? It's basically a what is the whatever the service model is there, and if you can do some sort of collaboration or some sort of interaction and some sort of linkages among them, then we can come out with something. So one thing is the RO water reject of the potential RO water is one of the potential risk and the loss of the water. And then one thing is that very important, the functioning of water vendor could. So they are actually functioning in a very professional manner, right? And they are into those local area providing the water. So it could be the one of the area, and which you can see that they are very much into this marketing sort of thing, and they are entire managing. So it's something coming out is a very clearly that they have got a very good marketing skill, managing skill, providing the water to the doorstep. So it is something very interesting. So tariff collection measures, which we are It could be one of the models that we can see that this tariff collection measures. So they have got a good collection measures and they have the professionalized operation management. So we can see that we can. There's one of the way that we have found that in the entire study that there is a possible or potential areas of the integration of this in a formal way. If some sort of you say the some sort of recognition we can do and we can get their business a very you say the environment friendly way or you say that the very potential good way. So they could be the I think the one of the collaborator in this entire supply of the safe water system. These are some of the key questions that we are want to take for the discussions, right? So if you see the entire water supply chain, a part of the entire water supply chain, so the public water supply chain or some water supply chain, where where this potential vendor could be fit. If you see the single pipe water supply scheme, multi-village pipe water supply scheme, where you are taking the water from the surface water and we are
अलग अलग ही रहने देते
हाँ अलग अलग ही
इसको रहने देते ना इसको रहने देते
हाँ ठीक है उठाना आसान होता है ना
हाँ जी
so larger question is that if are there competitors or the enablers when we're talking about the saturation of these areas with a 55 LPCD, that is the larger question is that how we can take the mindset away from the RO, right? The RO is something not good in recent of the my down to earth report that is in, and we also know that this RO is a lot of something affecting our entire health in some other way, right? So how we can take this mindset of using the RO, and we can focus on the water quality. So is it possible that we can convert the RO plants into the biological treatment plant and incentivize the treatment vendor rather than getting into that long treatment of the membrane-based treatment that they are doing, long membranes, and those membranes are very costly. I can found that one of the membrane that is from the dew point that is not available locally, it is coming from something around from a very distant area, and you have to pay for that. So it could be the one of the part how we can means collect the potential JJM water supply right to this retrofitted plant and supply. So is it possible that if the plant that is remain non-functional, it is not working, how we can actually integrate that? Something is important that the chilled water, the cool water, right? This is something very interesting for the people. So is it possible that this cool water, the chilled water available in the time, we can target a specific class of customer. You see the larger class of customer with a very low cost and through the government water for making the government water supply more attractive for drinking purposes. And finally, that if we see that second and last point is that can this vendor potentially become managers of the single village scheme by organizing tariff collection and value added services, taking beyond the school and household? They are the excellent managers, I would say. They are the excellent marketers. They are the excellent managers because their livelihood based on that. So this is one of the things that how can we. Lastly, is that regulatory measures. Look, when I started this discussion, that we say that we don't have any census, we don't have any data with this private regulator, this non-registered vendor, and registered vendor data is, I think, is there with the various agencies. But this registered vendor is spreading very fast. We need to do some sort of regulatory measures, or you say that some sort of census survey that we can get some census survey, so we can get some sort of ideas that what is happening there, right? So this is final from my side. Thank you very much. I think this is interesting to see that all this peoples. I would say that when we started this entire study, that we started with the value of the people. So large data collection and presentation would be the one of the method. But each and every people who have started the business, right? They value this business. They value this business as a livelihood, and their entire family will engage. So we value their voice, they value their perspective, and we present it over here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ghosh, for your very informative presentation. Really, you have put a question mark after during the presentation, and it is really thought-provoking. There's a lot of scope to think about the situation in the context of Jal Jeevan Mission. That way, this presentation is very unique in this platform, at least. Now I request our participants kindly to put question, if any. I have seen in the chat box, Dr. Dinesh Chand has put so many questions. So Dr. Chand, can you put a question, please?
Yes, please. I have already given in Google Sheet. I will read for you. Okay. Number one, source of energy. It is a grid system or a solar also in those treatment sites. Number one.
Okay.
Number two, brine disposal also a problem. Even in a rural area, urban area, everywhere. This will be having a lot of problem in groundwater, particularly for fluoride concentration and TDS. Third one, the economic data. Now, why I was asking, you have also reflected somewhere that there is a income problem. If income is good, then people are very happy to buy the water. But if they are facing problem in our visit also in Jal Jeevan Mission, our schemes also suffering due to non-payment of the tariff or water charges. So whether you have some data and then it is reflecting concretely saying that yes, if income is very good, then they are happy to pay, or it is a mindset okay, that government will be providing free of cost.
So, may I reply right now?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, first of all, this source of energy is a great, there is a no solar one, right? Second is the disposal of water is a really a big problem, right? I accept there is a disposal of water. And some of the vendors, like in case of the Sundarban, what we found that some of the vendors have started disposing that water in the pond, the fishery pond. So they are sensitive to that problem because they know that. Even in case of the Gaya, about the person when we went to the Kakula Jalprapat, this the person, he started recharging sort of thing in his house. But those recharging sort of thing is something requires some technical guidance, right? So
Yeah.
that is there, one of the things. But in the most of the cases, you are quite correct that this disposal of water requires some sort of thinking and intervention first. Second is that this income part is that this is very interesting question because people this is something this is something is related not to the income. I would say that it is linked to the mindset. For example, I just want to deflect this entire point. I just want to take this point separately to the some of the other factors, like in case of if you see that the peoples are buying water because they feel that first of all they feel that this water is a value added water, right?
Yeah.
Somebody has added the value, so I am paying for that. First point, right? So it's something is a big factor. Second factor is that this mindset, this value added mindset, is that actually I am buying some sort of thing which is actually going to give me a status entire in the society. Second thing is that this case of Uttar Pradesh, second is raise the status. Third thing is that interaction by the feedback system, grievance mechanism, daily interaction, it also changes the mindset of the people that you are buying something which has been value added. In case of you say about the public water supply system, and some of the cases that we have found that even some of the areas, when such type of interaction started, people, some of the cases value that public water supply very much, and they are ready to pay, right? Ready to pay. But in case of right now in this vending process, when you look at the vendor angle, this is something very different. It's like entirely a mindset of the people, and they are also been actually if people are not buying the water, they change the mindset of the people. So the non-payment of the system is something mindset of the people, which which has really been a big topic for the discussions, even in the water rate.
Yes, you are very right. Our experience also conclude the same thing. People may pay, but then there is a mindset towards government facility saying that when we are getting free of cost government facility, why to pay? And they can just ignore.
Just to add your point, there is a very large debate on this: the public versus private goods, right?
Yeah.
Then operation of the market and the welfare state. These are the larger discussion that is taking place. And frankly speaking, that this is something related to your how you project your how you're positioning your product in the mind of the people. So that is happening over there everywhere, and it is really, I would say that as a practitioner, it has really been a very disturbing.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dinasen, for your question. Any other person there, please? Dr. Sanjeev Agarwal, you want to say something? I've seen you raise some comment in your chat box.
Yes, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, yes, you are audible, sir.
Okay. Sir, I have not only one question, I have several questions, but being I have visited many states, and not only in Jal Jeevan Mission, but also when I was in Ministry of Environment. Basically, sir, water is a state subject, and they have the riparian right, and it's to them. Okay, but some of the projects are maybe delaying due to some other reasons. And when the water is available, there are three things. One thing is somewhere water is not at all available, there will be a problem. So their vendor can work, but basically the where the water is available, but it is contaminated, then it is a problem. So basically, whatever they are getting the water in the state, in the rural areas, sometimes rural people are not drinking that water, and they are more on the private vendors. So I think this has to be taken very seriously by the implementing agency, because they are allowing to the private vendors, and these private vendors sometimes are not giving a good quality of water. So my question is that I think we have to look very seriously when they are allowing to vendors, because many of the states mentioned in this presentation are highly affected by arsenic, fluoride, and high TDS. So these are my points, that especially we have to look into that. When vendors are giving to them, they should be properly checked. Quality should be properly checked to the water which has being given to the rural people. And somewhere also I have seen that if water is not available, they are taking from the ground and they are using that solar energy for providing the water. They are putting the one overhead tank, one large tank, and they are supplying the water. So sometimes they are doing a very good job. Somewhere they are doing a good job, but somewhere they are not doing. So basically, being accountable, being responsible person, this kind of availability and this kind of providing the water, safe water to the rural areas is must. So basically, my question, my um, question to the implementing agencies, even that all operational guidelines are there, why the implementing agencies are not taking care of? Thank you, sir.
Well, Mr. Ghosh, do you have something to say about on the comment of Dr. Agarwal, please?
So this is actually been directed to the peoples who are in a government, right? And we are also working with the government. So definitely we are collaborating with each and every state level as well as even local level elected peoples in the government. What I would say that Sir is exactly correct. I would say they're exactly correct. And finally, one of the important thing that even in India, where the government is working, finally I'm advocating the state, sir points, the water is your public goods. First, we have to establish it, first of all, right? And second is what is the rights? Everybody has a right to get a safe water. That is based in our, all the legal as well as the constitutional document. If you see that is a very clear. And when we're talking about this public goods and the water is a right, so there is a equality in the water. Everybody should get water free of charges. Nobody can buy the water, right? If you have a price, you're going to buy the water. You don't have the price. There is inequality. So this is not about the right. This right has not been qualified in that level. That is a principally that has been clear, right? But here the sir is raising that the very important question that even this RO water supplier is there and their quality is not as per the norms. It's quite correct. Really been a very it's quite correct. And there should be a mechanism at least at the panchayat level. I would say the panchayat we are providing the FTK kit. Lifestyle Jal Jeevan Mission provide the FTK kit and they are uploading the data. So why don't they have the power to check this RO water when they are getting into their panchayat? Right. That is one of the things that panchayat need to take in charge. That they should check that they check this water. And some of the areas where the panchayat are very powerful, they have restricted their presence. They have said that don't drill the water over here. We have seen that these cases very clearly. They have restricted their presence. They say that this is a really not bad because your hand pump water is going down. Your irrigation, they don't do that. So one of the things which could be checked in this solution is that the water quality one, that we need somehow to get the entire data of a one panchayat of this local vendor, right? At least in a sample basis, we can start this work and empower the panchayat to just you say that because you people are responsible, just restrict these people, whatever the relation that you have, in terms of quality as well as in the terms of quantity. You are extracting the water and wasting the water. That is the one thing I think that one of the solutions that we have, right? And in the decentralization case, I would say that this is there in the panchayat is also been so water supply is one of the subject of panchayat that they can intervene, right?
One more thing, Dr. Ghosh, just want to mention, we have the traditional solutions on this particular uh, aspect, because water, they are treating the water traditionally. The people are getting a very good kind of quality of water. So nowadays we forgetting that, but presently I'm supporting and I'm saying that why not to use or why not to suggest them the nature-based solution where water is being treated by the nature and then is being provided to should be provided to the villagers, because many of the water these kind of areas are highly contaminated by arsenic and fluoride and TDS. So these things, I think we should consider the nature-based solutions are there, and we should have the programs and trainings on that particular thing so that we can cover, at least we can give them a good quality of water. Thank you, Doctor.
Definitely, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
One Mr. Salil Srivastava from Tata Trust wanted to ask some question. Actually, he wanted to ask you whether during this course of study you have tested the RO water from the plants. So, Mr. Srivastava,
No.
if you are there, you can quickly put a question, please.
Sir, we haven't tested it, the RO water, because given the time constraint and the state we have to cover, and even one of the things that very interesting thing what we found that when we started, I'm giving that what happened when we started going for the interaction of this water vendor, they are not ready to face us, right? They thought that this person is right from the government, and they don't want to come out. In case of the Gaya, when I met that person, I met at an 8:39, right? And he not ready to come out. And again, not showing the plant and everything is happening because they know that they are doing something which is not registered and something which is government have got means we are been stopped by the government 2 years before, so they are not coming up. So the testing of this water is not we unable to do that because this is something our intervention areas which these vendors are locating. So we are unable to do that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for
Any
your
more-
reply. But excellent work done by the WaterAid team. So my congratulations to all the team members. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Savil also. I have a question in my mind to Mr. Ghosh. How you see this private vendors business and all, in which place you see when after successful implementation of Jal Jeevan Mission, maybe after 2 or 3 years, Jal Jeevan Mission will be very successful in rural areas, we hope so. But as you have traveled a lot, have extensive study in rural areas, just I want to know from you, what is your personal feeling that where they would stand, these private vendors?
It's a very
Mr.
difficult
Ghosh.
question, sir. It's a very, very difficult question, I think. It's because thing is that,
Okay.
yeah, it's a difficult question because when I was going to the guideline of the Jal Jeevan Mission, there's
Yes.
one of the word that has been used, very interesting word that I came across, and I'm completely reading that word, right? Right now, I'm also repeating the word, and that word is called a utility, you know, and that word is a utility. And if you get into this entire guideline, their aspiration is the Jal Jeevan Mission is a very, very excellent. I would say it's a very good because they want to achieve this SDG goals, right? And everything is there. Therefore, intention is very excellent. Huge amount of money has been spent, and we want to in course of the utility, that is in a very classical sense, capacity of a commodity to satisfy your want. That is a definition, right? So they want to turn this entire system of the Jal Jeevan Mission, say for the departments, say for the training, so much training, water quality, mindset, the implementers, everything in terms of making the water as an utility, right? That is the first point that need to be very clear in that Jal Jeevan Mission. What it means, if you say that when we are giving some water to the people, say for this pipe water supply, it will going to sustain when the people will have some ownership. It's the ownership in a kind or ownership in a cash, or you say it in terms of tariff. That is the very fundamental principle, right? And if I see the Jal Jeevan Mission 2 years after, right, I would say that the people's wherever the panchayat is very strengthened, if your panchayat decentralization of the panchayat is very strengthened, right? The entire Jal Jeevan Mission will going to work very efficiently, right? The panchayat is very strengthened. It will going to work, and more strengthening is going on over here. And panchayat will never going to allow this private water vendor, whatever thing is that, because the people are going to get a good water in the free of cost, right? Free of supply. But wherever the panchayat is least powerful, we need to work on them, right? Because the panchayat is a something elected body, and they are fighting the election on the local system of the your water as well as the water scarcity, drinking water. Even I found in the Uttay Nagar Panchayat, this person has won the election on the basis of the making the water as an agenda, and he's supplying the water, and he know that he will not supply, he will not there in this. So Jal Jeevan Mission would be successful. The center has implemented it. Center have spend a tremendous amount of money. I would say it's a tremendous amount of money. But when you get into the state, say the how much decentralization we have in a state as a panchayat as a decisions maker. I would say that in a Bihar, my experience was there in a Bihar. What committees are responsible for the implementation? The earlier phase, I would say that some of the partners like Aga Khan Rural Support Program in India, and some of the partners who have worked, and they do the tremendous work in collection of the sustaining the entire pipe water supply. So my answer would be, if you ask about that first thing, what would be the future? The future would be that strengthening of the more panchayat, it will going to sustain it. But somehow, I would say that giving the positional statement right now, right, as an individual, I would say, as an individual, water is the water is a public good. Again, I will repeat it number of times, and people should avail the water as a right. Then again, with a free of cost or say the very subsidized or a very low level cost, right? That is not, but water is a public goods that we have to accept. And this is something which is available to the people whenever they require safe water. And this is something, the stand I have right now, if you ask me personally, it is not a private goods.
You have rightly said. This is a public goods. So private maybe intervention is very good, but it should be limited, not pan India. You know, otherwise Jal Jeevan Mission will be no meaning.
Yes, sir. I accept your this. Your, means I have seen that some of the countries like in a UK they have got the excellent public water supply, right?
Yeah.
Even the private water supply is functioning, but they have got a public water supply is a very good. And even if you go over there, they will say that you can drink it.
Yeah.
And it's don't have any contamination. I have seen that is very.
Here also, if you, it's a huge country, no? So somewhere there is a lapses, but by and large, if you see the running schemes are very good. But maybe some fund constraints, and then people are not paying water charges, then maintenance money is not being put. Those are the questions. Otherwise, it's a fantastic arrangement what government is perceiving under Jal Jeevan Mission.
So I just want to add
Panchayats.
something. Your point that when we went to the Gaya,
Yeah.
and all the vendors, irrespective of the private vendor, all the vendors, I have seen one thing that it is something that I again use this. The water is something linked to the sanctity of pure goods. They said that very internally that we are selling it, but somehow we have to making the livelihood. But somebody is coming who is very differently able, poor, people can't take a water. People from we have seen the people who are people who are coming from the other states, so very poor people, laborers, they are giving it a free. So somehow your words are there that it need to get promoted as a public good. So there is something there.
Rightly
Thank
said,
you.
this is a question of livelihood of the vendors, no?
Thank you very much for all this discussion. Really, this is a thought-provoking presentation. And I hope there is no more question left. Though there are so many questions in our mind regarding water supply in this sector, and we don't know about the fate after successful implementation of Jal Jeevan Mission. But one point is definitely there. We must make our service delivery perfect under Jal Jeevan Mission to eliminate such vendors from their operational areas. Thank you very much. I hope there is no more question. Anyone?
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So we want to
Sanjeev ji.
close this session for today. Once again, thank you very much, Mr. Ghosh, for your beautiful presentation, thought-provoking presentation, and all the participants for their patience hearing and active participation also. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank
Here
you,
we
sir.
end our session.